are recording. So I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. I really appreciate it, especially on one of the last few great nights of summer. So I really appreciate your time and I appreciate your dedication to helping others. Today, what I want to talk about, as soon as I find the share screen, is, all right, that's the wrong one. Let me stop sharing. Give me just a second and I'll pull that up. There we go. All right. This time I mean it. This topic is basically everything you needed to know about networking you learned in kindergarten. So that's a riff on a book for everything you needed to know you learned in kindergarten. And the point of this topic, just real briefly, and we'll get into it here in a minute, is I think what limits some people's networking effectiveness is not the strategies or the tactics, but the philosophy behind it. So I'll give you just one example and we'll get more into this, right, is thinking that I don't have anything to give. I think that's a fallacy and I think that limits what your effectiveness is. Another one that I hear a lot is, or see is believing that networking is about getting something or getting a job or, you know, making it transactional. So I want to kind of talk about that tonight, the philosophy of networking. And I think that'll help improve your networking game considerably. So a little bit about me for those that don't know, I was in the Army a long time ago. Basically, it was me and Noah. We were hanging out together before technology and computers. I was stationed in Ramstein and Frankfurt, which was quite an honest to God awesome duty. Learned a lot. And because I just didn't feel like I had enough, I went for 3 years in the Minnesota National Guard. And I was stationed in the Signal Battalion, 147th Signal. I don't know if they're even still around anymore, up in Arden Hills. After that, I pursued a 20-year plus career in information technology. And I got laid off in 2007, right before the downturn in the economy. And that led to one of the worst job search opportunities in years. And so I decided to become a business coach, an entrepreneur, and that lasted for about a year and the economy kept going down. So that led to working at the DEED, or Workforce Center, or Career Force Center as it's now called, as a vet rep. And I loved the heck out of that. That was a fantastic opportunity for me because it allowed me to discover passions that I didn't know I had for helping others. And I would encourage everyone who's thinking about a career to think about how are you serving something greater than yourself. So people often call me, or maybe I often think of myself as an instigator, an inspirer, a challenger, a supporter, and a visionary learner, right? So my job is to help you believe that you can, and then find a way to make that actually happen. That's what I do best. And my wife says that I will give you homework, so you might want to bring a notepad and paper. That's why she never asks me for help on the computer anymore. I don't get it. So I think a lot of people are, when they start networking and learning about it, right, because obviously we have a book called the 20-Minute Networking Meeting that we use and preach, they can believe that networking is just a set of mechanical steps. First do this, say this in this format, say this in this order, then say this, don't say that. And while that's all true and very helpful to have a process that's consistent, I want to encourage you to think that networking is more than that. It's a relationship. And while networking as a transaction or a mechanical set of steps will actually be effective, I would encourage you to note that if you're looking to build a relationship, everyone will get far more out of it, including yourself, that will really transform the things that can be done. And I think oftentimes it comes off as inauthentic. It doesn't really build that connection, that human connection to somebody else that says, I see you, I value you, I respect you, and I appreciate you. And you're an incredible person. And so I think that's the first thing that I want to call out is that you can actually just do that, just add value to the relationship, and you've already given something. So for folks that say, I don't really have anything to give, I categorically challenge you to believe that that's not true. Just your presence makes a difference. As long as it's a compassionate, caring, interested, curious presence. Does anybody remember these 3 books? Nobody? Nobody read these books as a kid?
I read them all.
Okay.
Tells you how old I am.
Did anybody read these to your kids?
Velveteen Rabbit.
Yeah.
Yep, I read it too.
I actually bought these books for this purpose. So I was teaching a class on this, and I was trying to teach this to my group at the Workforce Center, and I said, these 3 books are everything you need to know about networking. Because networking is about who you're being as much as it is about what you're doing. And so I want to go through the lessons or morals of these books as they apply to networking. So in the Velveteen Rabbit, right, we learn to become real to others through love. And in Stone Soup, we learn that sharing through trust creates something we all enjoy. Something we can all partake in. And the Giving Tree teaches us about the joy of giving. Now, I know as service members and veterans, you all are dialed in on those, but I want you to think of them as how they apply to a job search networking strategy. Are there other lessons that you guys have found in those books that might apply to networking?
You're asking us to remember a lot from a long time ago.
Alan, I would say it's being authentic to yourself as well, based on the morals within those 3 stories. I used to teach preschool, so I'm a little bit fresher on my knowledge of these 3 books.
I like that.
Thank God somebody knows.
Everybody go to your kids' library and pull out these books. There's going to be homework. And actually, I would encourage you to reread these for that point, right? Other thoughts that you guys have on these books? Thank you very much, Heather. I'm going to take silence not only as golding, but that I'm blowing your minds. So I'm going to take that as a positive. Exactly. So to me, the real lessons of these books are be real, be kind, and be giving. Be real, be kind, and be giving. And I invite you to notice that none of these are a script or process, right? And again, I'm going to say it again, not that you shouldn't have a script or process, but I have oftentimes screwed up the process and actually had a very effective networking meetings as long as I brought this to the meeting. And it all starts for me personally as a genuine curiosity in that person. Who are they? What are they about? Honestly, why did they even bother to meet with me? Right? What are they looking to get out of this, as well as what am I looking to be able to give to them? And I put in there, you know, building connections are powerful, especially if you're connecting with veterans, right? And you can really leverage a lot of power if you're just asking about them. And that is part of the script of the 20-minute book. And I'll tell you, that's the secret of why it works so well, is because that spotlight is focused on them, their perspective, their relationships, their ideas, and any information that they have, right? But you can bring an attitude of deeply listening and support and inspiration and friendship and compassion. These are all things that you bring to these meetings. So this one is for you. Is there anything that I said here that was inspiring or mind-changing, or is there anything that's going to be something that you're going to start doing or start being, or maybe stop doing or stop being?
Yeah, this is Mike. I think I'm gonna, the net or the, what do you call it, the elevator speech, that seems something to leave behind, and work more on, I think you had other ones where I just, pick certain topics and I can go back to them as I need them. So let it flow more natural that way.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. I appreciate that.
Hey, Alan, this is Chris.
Yeah.
So I think it reinforces a lot of, the training that we do in my business, where, if you help enough people and you truly are intent on helping people, you will end up helping yourself, but you have to do that first. If it's the other way around, it doesn't work. And so it reinforces kind of what you're talking about here and saying, particularly if you're in a business that actually helps people, you have, you actually feel good about it. It's not like you're putting lipstick on a pig or something.
Yeah.
And so it really reinforces that message that sometimes we mess up. And sometimes it's not because we want to, it's just because we get passionate, we get excited about what we're talking about.
Yeah.
We forget about, well, what does this person need? How can I help them? And then what's keeping them up at night? And if you can figure that out and you actually have a solution that can help them, it's amazing what the other things can happen down the road because you actually truly understand what they need help on.
That's great. I like that a lot, Chris. Thank you. I will say one of the things that people tell me is I don't have anything to bring to the networking, right? For that, how can I help you? And I invite them to notice that you can actually find whatever, like Chris was saying, whatever that would help them most, right? If they're honest with you about it, you can take that as a task to go find somebody who can help them with that. You don't need to have a connection to them to ask them, hey, would you like to meet somebody who wants what you have to offer? I guarantee you the answer is not going to be no.
Do what I do, and I've been doing lately, is just saying, hey, is there anybody in my network that you've seen in preparation for the meeting that I can introduce you to? And if the answer is no, I say, hey, you know what, if they do come upon somebody, reach out, because I'm here to help. Or if it's somebody in business, if they're talking about, say, full stack developer, let me see and look at my connections, see what I can maybe send your way.
Nice. I like it. That's exactly right. That's the right spirit. Exactly, Bruce. Thank you. Has this helped anyone or changed anybody's thought modes?
Yeah.
I like is, may I offer a comment?
Go ahead.
Thanks. The thing that I really like about what you said, it takes a lot of the pressure off. In my own company, I do a couple things in my agency, and when you think about networking, everybody's there doing the same thing. Everybody wants something, right? And I think it just takes you out of your head. I think sometimes when we're networking, you're in your own head and you're thinking about your wants and needs, when really what is required of you is just to really connect with somebody else there in an authentic way. I think Chris mentioned that as well. And the thing that has happened in my business quite a bit is it's not always the person that I want might not be in the room, or on the Zoom call or wherever, but they know someone. So I like to think of it sometimes like you're dropping a pebble in the lake. And there's this ripple effect. And sometimes you just make an authentic connection with someone that happens to know somebody that is like perfect for you to connect. And so I think what you were just really saying is relaxing a lot more about networking.
Yeah.
Getting out of your head, being more present in the moment, really connecting with whoever's there without being feeling disappointed if you didn't meet the right person that moment, because someone there probably is connected to someone that could be of great value to you. So I like what you said.
Thanks. I appreciate that input. So I will invite you to notice that most of your being veterans have this as underlying values and principles, but either maybe didn't know that that those can help in a civilian setting, or didn't know that maybe weren't conscious of the fact of just how important it really is to be present and be giving and be thoughtful. Those have insane contributions to make to your job search strategy. I think that was one of the mistakes that I made, and I say this in jest, but you know, I think I told my retention NCO when I was getting out of the Army that I wanted to get out and be a money grubbing capitalist, right? So let me just say how shocked I was that that's not how business really works. And you know, for good, right? I mean, the principles that we were taught in the military are extremely valuable in the world of work. So just bear in mind that, you know, maybe give yourself permission for what you already know is relevant and helpful for you. So any QA or any other final thoughts or input or suggestions?
We're all in reflection, Alan.
That's right.
We're in deep thought. That's what you
That's
made us
cool.
do. You made us think.
You're all just very lucky there's no homework tonight. Well, I appreciate your time, and you know, I want to thank you all for giving me the time to present this, because it's, like I said, it's near and dear to my heart, and I see a lot of guys and gals that kind of can sometimes get twisted around the axle of what networking is, or am I doing it right, or am I wearing the right shoes, or you know, whatever. And I think it's important to bear in mind that having the right attitude trumps everything else. And so if you're networking with the right attitude of how much you care about others, you're doing it right. So thank you very much for your time. I'm going to pause or stop the recording at this point. There, the recording is stopped. Thank you, everyone. Hopefully that was helpful. At this point, what I want to do is give everybody an opportunity to introduce themselves. And so what I'll do is I'll take the, I guess this time I'll work from the bottom right on my screen. I don't know how everybody else's is ordered, but on my screen, Zach Johnson is bottom right, and then it's Nick Dahl. So Zach, do you want to take a moment to introduce yourself? And
yeah, you want to do kind of the usual, what we were hoping to gain for the night and everything?
What's that?
You want to kind of do the usual, what we were trying to gain from the night and everything?
Yep. And then also, if there's any announcements for MACV.
Yeah, absolutely. Zach Johnson, Minnesota Assistance Council for Veterans. I'm an employment specialist over there. So if you are looking for help with resume writing, job seeking, other networking avenues, or just job leads, please come talk to myself or Scott. I believe he's still on here. And then a couple things. Everybody's back pocket, E2020, October 29th. It's on the Minnesota Military Exchange website. Go on there and register. There's going to be a lot of great panels on there from MDVA, from MACV, from the CRC, and a bunch of other organizations, as well as we have our resume writing class, which will drop our usual pamphlet in the chat box, and we will go from there. I think you're still recording.
Am I? Oh,